Oh boy, 3, 2, 1. We're back. Casino Guitars, special edition.
Yay.
The Greeny edition.
No.
The Greeny is here. It has arrived, safe and sound. We have it. It's sitting right over here to my right, stage right, your left.
I was going to say, you're right are the same. But whatever. It's cool.
I'm confused. We want to talk about the guitar, and we're going to talk about the experience because we have inside sources from not one, but 3 of our friends that have gone and experienced had the Greeny experience.
Greeny experience.
And so we've taken feedback, and we've gotten it's a neat sort of review, even though we weren't allowed to be there.
Secondhand reviews. That's the next thing.
First, without further ado, though, it's the guitar. It's a guitar.
It's a guitar.
So Jonathan, Baxter, that's me. We've had a chance to play this thing.
We have.
What do you think?
I was pretty impressed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really good guitar.
I was impressed too. We were expecting to not be as impressed as we were.
Right.
I think was the general consensus here at Casino Land. But
and maybe on the internet. But
no, we were expecting just to be sort of underwhelmed by it. You know, because it's an expensive guitar.
Well, it's a lot of hype, you know what I mean? It's hard for anything to live up to that. But this one...
No, it's a spell. Give us a quick basic rundown of what this guitar is again for viewers that do not know.
So, 59 bursts. The original, obviously, not this one. Started his life with Peter Green, Fleetwood Mac fame, so great blues artist. Wound up going from him to Gary Moore. Was, used by Gary Moore. Gary Moore's pretty amazing, so that's awesome. And then ended up being bought by KirK Hammett for a lot of money.
What band does Sir KirK Hammett play with?
Hanson? No, I think it's Metallica.
Okay. Metallica. Having Hanson flashbacks now. Good one. I love
That'd
Hanson.
be amazing. If this guitar was being played on Bop every night in county fairs. But no, Hanson's great as well. But Metallica, KirK Hammett has this guitar. And I think he's like recording with it and maybe even using some Les Pauls and stuff live now. But it's got the famous, the out of phase thing going on.
Yeah, so the green mod there where it sounds honky.
Honky.
We'll have demos of this, of course, on Casino Guitars channel of us playing it. And Jonathan's going to have some clips of him playing on his channel as well, so check that out, Jonathan Robinson Music. But it's a really good guitar. They tried to now. This is Tom Murphy, hand painted and aged personally, all 50 of these, and they're all really close. Some are slightly different, we've noticed, but almost to the T. Like it's pretty impressive.
But I mean, you could tell a pretty big difference between a Murphy Lab and I think Tom Murphy stuff in general, but especially this.
Well, I think you knew like there'd be some serious eyes on this one.
I mean, like when you feel or look at that neck, or like the wear on the back, or like it looks like the little simulated headstock break. It's pretty amazing.
I mean, that's what I was trying to figure. Was it scored or was it actually broken? I think it's just scored.
I think it's just scored. It's perforated so that when it breaks, it'll be clean.
That was a little. So the guitar is really special. Stay tuned. Watch the demo later. I want to get into the experience a bit of it too, because this was an expensive price tag. The experience, some people say, like, is that part of it? Maybe, or is it the guitar? Maybe that's the entire price. Because some people bought the guitar without going the experience, because that's maybe not their thing.
Sure.
And so I don't think you're getting an undervaluation if you're willing to spend this much on the guitar anyway.
I mean, I'm sure they factored it in.
$50,000, just so we're not.
I also think you probably can already find these on Reverb for more than $50,000.
I think we've seen them. I saw one at 80.
I thought someone said 85.
Yeah, 80, 85. There's been a couple up there, and that's
doesn't mean they've moved for that yet. But I think if you bought one of these, just from a collectability standpoint, you probably did okay.
Well, we know the Jimmy Pages went through the roof. I have many friends who wish they would have kept theirs. Well,
I was talking with a friend that we know. I will not name who it is, but he's in this strange industry in a different sort of sector, and he's like, "Oh, that's ridiculous." Or well, not ridiculous, but he didn't think they would actually sell. I was like, "Dude." They were sold.
You have no idea.
Immediately.
Well, that's like the alligator strat, or like the Mike McCready, and it's like.
Well, he's like, if you guys would have had these, would you? Do you really think somebody would have come to your shop to buy? I was like, as many as we could have had, we would have sold.
We would have sold 1 through 50.
Right. Yes.
like within probably 48 hours.
But I think that's interesting because I think some people don't think these $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 things sell, but
it's crazy. It's a weird world. Do we understand what's happening?
Not exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about the experience. So you buy this guitar. There's all sorts of cool things that happen. You first have to get. You couldn't buy this through any awesome custom shop retailers that have helped build the brand for years and decades. That's a whole other issue, which I have problems with. But you had to buy it through the Gibson garage only, which again is a little bit confusing for these guys that have spent the past 40, 50 years building this brand to where through the ups and downs. Another story, whole other video. It's probably been done by us. But so anyway, you're on the phone, you get some contracts, there's some NDAs you have to sign in sort of the pre-periods before you get to go buy this guitar. It's because it's quite a big
this was not like check out, add to cart. Like
no,
this was like a little bit more of a process.
There is a process. You couldn't just buy it and add it and be like, cool, I'm heading out now. Cool.
Yeah.
So that's the beginning of this process. And then once it's all done and settled, there was a date. I believe it was November 10th-ish, somewhere around there, where they flew out first class to the great city of Nashville.
It's kind of cool. They got to fly first class.
It is cool. I mean,
you've
flown first class quite a bit, right? In your mind.
And yeah, I always walk by them. I'm like, oh look
they
how
walk
nice those chairs are.
Damn it! I mean, it'd be such a waste though from here to Nashville. It's too short.
Yeah,
it's like an hour flight. I want to go like to Mumbai or something.
Yeah.
You know, in first class and just be like, I'm in here for a day, just chilling. Okay, so they fly out first class. You arrive at the airport. First things like you got to get to the airport. I figured there would have been a car or something or somebody to take you, but you got to get an Uber or whatever. That's fine. Everybody's big boys. Get an Uber to your hotel.
Okay.
Hotels, first class, great hotel they stayed at. It was bells and whistles, wonderful place. Got the concierge, the lobby is fancy, the swimming pool, the gym, all that, wonderful. Then they had a bus sort of take them all down to the garage later that evening.
The Gibson garage.
The Gibson garage, not
which
like
enjoy.
Garage, which is really cool. And then that's where like sort of the first of the welcome to this experience begins. And I think it's pretty cool. They bring all their corporate bigwigs out. They all give speeches, some better than others from what I've heard. What was really cool is I heard everybody I've talked to said they love JC.
Yeah, that's true.
Of the three cats I've talked to there directly, and also of just other customers across the board and folks that have met him, they've all had great experiences with him. And what really teed it off, which like sort of showed it, was like he was walking around. He was the only one drinking beer.
Ah, nice.
You know, and I've noticed a lot of the guys notice like he's the beer drinker, and like so the beer drinkers sort of conglomerated together a little bit too, made friends. And one of our local cats, I mean, anybody at Gibson watching this will know that's this guy's guitar, obviously. But
he also said he really enjoyed Mr. John Wolford, who was one of my friends.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that they connected.
They did.
See, that's awesome.
I thought that was pretty awesome.
At the Gibson garage?
At the thing.
Oh,
yes,
see, I didn't know about that until this very moment.
Full of surprises.
Yeah, that makes me happy. No, because if you haven't been to the Gibson garage, it's an amazing experience.
It is
a wonderful showroom. It's the people that work there are awesome. They actually care about the guitars and seem to be having a good time for the most part.
I think that's true.
And John's cool.
Yeah, John's awesome.
And our other gentleman that helped us with the video we did there, gosh, a year plus ago. I can't remember when we did that now.
It's been a minute. It's been a while.
Summer name a bit ago. It was, hopefully they're all still there. But anyway, the beer drinking, I was impressed. I think Tom Murphy was maybe there too a while ago. And he didn't, I don't know if he really spoke at this event. I can't remember from my timeline from talking to the folks. He spoke at something, and it might have been in the tours that we get to the next day. But everybody is really like connected with, when they did get to speak with Tom. Yep. It was a huge connection.
Yes.
Like the few that did, because Tom is like, anyway, that we'll get to the end and we'll get more into that at the end of the video. And JC, very impressive as far as the leadership goes. That's what the cats were all saying. Just need to hear that from the normal folks that buy this guitar.
The normal $50,000 guitar buying folks. Yeah, it's cool. Totally.
Okay, so then they take him into the Gibson garage. I mean, the vault.
The vault.
The vault comes later, and this was sort of like one of the other little hiccups that might have happened, because you're supposed to be like a +1, I think. Like,
right.
You bring your +1, but it seemed like there was like +6s, +9s, +4s. So when they brought them in the vault, they're bringing them in there like, the vault's not that big. It's a small room, series of rooms. And there's maybe like 25 26 people in this little tiny room.
It was a bit crowded.
It just seems like a bad play there. Like and then you're trying to see these cool, the rare pieces that Gibson's acquired over the years. And it's pretty rare to impossible thing to do in most situations. You can't just go to the garage and see this.
Hey, take me to the vault. No.
There's a ticket price to it. And so it's a pretty neat. I've never been in it. One day, maybe. One day. The heavens will open upon. I doubt it. Me too.
Banned. On the list.
I've been banned from much cooler things too. I don't want to. Maybe not. Maybe that's the top. But no. So that was a little problem. Just having it so tight. I would have thought I would have even broken this whole thing into multiple nights possibly, where I brought the groups out. If people are paying this top dollar,
or just logistically, maybe take 10 folks in there at a time. I mean, I'm surely there was a way.
And just sort of sped it along in a different way. I think you could do that. Or from what I've heard too is have some of the guys like Tom and JC that are so good with people, have them sort of circulate the crowd maybe more because those guys they were winners throughout the whole thing.
Yes.
Everything I've heard about these guys
nothing but good stuff.
And then one other guy later we'll get to in a little bit. So that was the vault. And it could have been a magical thing just to get to go in there. And I was thinking 5 people should go in there at a time.
I thought that too, but I'm that might take a while.
But you could do that. If you're just sort of as you had entertainment, you sort of groups of 5,
Because they did have entertainment, right? They had folks.
And it doesn't have to be everybody's +1s. I mean, it could be just just the buyers and maybe +1. That way you could do it instead of the +6s and +9s.
Which were people who bought multiple guitars, right? So, whatever.
Well, I mean, it's not even that. So if you buy multiple guitars, sure, bring in more. But some you could just bring as many as you wanted. I think.
Oh.
People.
Okay.
Sort of in this thing. That's where that sort of kicks into night 2 is a little bit of a problem. But everybody's pretty satisfied across the board with that. So the factory tours the next day. Everybody goes back to the hotels. The buses take them home. Everybody's thoroughly drunk at this point, I hope. I've heard that from a few folks.
One would hope.
Open bar, you go crazy. So then you get your buses back out to the factory the next day. Then they run. It's a pretty standard factory tour, I think.
Okay.
They maybe set up a few little, maybe 1 or 2 sections that sort of highlight how they do the binding and whatnot.
Or they do the wrap thing.
They give you things to sort of show you the hand done details and whatnot that aren't part of the production normally, but they just want to sort of highlight it a little bit just in a different way. And then I think you get to sort of see a little bit of the custom shop. They don't take you into the Murphy lab. That's sort of top secret, I believe.
Fair enough.
Because that's where they're experimenting on aliens.
Yeah.
They're helping with. That's not true.
So what's the lab?
Ooh, I never thought about that. Or making giraffes, because giraffes aren't natural. There's no way that's a
stretch them out.
Real animal. It's a horse with a neck stretch. So they do the whole that part. Then later that evening you have the dinner. This is the dinner. This is where I sort of thought you were getting your guitar presented to you. I was like, this is gonna be the coolest thing. Okay, spoiler alert.
Derek can edit me out if he wants, but
no. I mean, that's a good part. I thought it would be. That's what we all sort of thought. Here's your guitars. They didn't present the guitars. The guitars are all done at this point. But I think Tom Murphy was at this dinner too, and I heard the few cats he connected with had the time of their lives.
You're right.
The negatives of this evening was you think we're sitting close, we're not. Everyone's boom right up against each other because it was the plus 1, 2, 3, 4s and grandmothers in 4 in tow. So it was a tight evening. And then it's whatever. I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm used to eating in cafeterias.
Yeah, it's fine.
Maybe this crowd's not. But it's still a nice dinner. Everybody's get KirK Hammett's there of Metallica, obviously, and you get to go get your picture taken with them. You don't take your own pictures. Celebrities control this in a very special way.
Yeah.
You get it taken, and then they'll email you or text however files of the pictures that just to make sure there's no just trash photos getting out there. I understand that too.
Gotta get your good side.
No, I don't. I mean, no, I get it. Because John Mayer and Ed Sheeran know how to take selfies.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do. So that when people in The Rock and all those guys, when they take selfies, they take the phone and they do it. This was a professional camera, obviously. So you don't get much time with KirK, unfortunately, because they're just sort of boom, boom, boom. It's the circus they got to go through. That would have been nicer. Could have spent a little bit more time if it was just the 50 plus ones. Maybe it could have been a bit more intimate.
It could. Right. That's
maybe.
true. Maybe. Sort of.
Or if they could have been KirK, will you stay 2 nights? We're going to cut this into 2 and just have a dinner.
I mean, he's KirK Hammett.
I mean, he could do whatever he wants.
He's got Waz to play. He's got things to do, bro.
But I hear his guitar tech was there though, and his guitar tech was cool as hell.
I bet KirK is cool. He
KirK seems like a cool guy, and they said he was great.
Cool guy. He just seems like he'd be a nice guy. He always looks happy to me. So
I mean, how can you not be happy? You're one of the biggest bands in the world.
I mean, I like that. One of the things I enjoy about Metallica is they're like, oh, like we're metal and hard, but it seems like they don't take themselves that seriously. Like when KirK and the bass player come and do like fun covers in their big shows.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like that, I just think that's really cool.
Because they're all dads and they're grown-ups and they're past the point of like, we got to be cool. Like they are cool. They're the kings of metal. Like, and people are like, they're not metal. And yeah, they're metal.
I just love when people talk junk about like, oh, he's not that good of a player. Okay. Sure.
That is something because a lot of these players are so much better than people realize too. You sit in a room with them.
Or just playing those songs live. I mean, like, you're an idiot.
No, he's made some mistakes on stage. So we all.
Well, everyone does, I would think.
That's considered 90% of my performance career. No, but so the dinner, everything was great. That's when I thought you'd get your guitar. They didn't present the guitars, and I guess the reason is because, I don't know, they don't want people comparing their guitars, maybe. That might be something.
That could be it. I would think that'd be half the fun.
Or I was thinking like, oh, that mine's better than yours or something like, or they look the same and maybe you lose like the allure if there's like 50 of the same guitar.
Maybe.
Or maybe like, I think it'd be cool if you could compare them. You could swap if you like someone's better.
No.
Like, oh, I like yours. Oh, you got number 25. I want 25. You got number 1. I want 1.
Then a fight breaks out. It'd be great.
Sometimes you don't want 1 because that's usually the first one besides the prototype because it's number 1. And it might not be as good. You might want number 50.
I mean, that would be really interesting to compare them all.
Like 1 to 50.
I mean, I can't imagine any. I mean, after playing this, I can't imagine there's.
Well, on this guitar, the pickups are outrageously good.
They're stupidly good.
The neck is warm and gooey, just how you want, without any of that woofy honkiness, and the bridge cuts through without being too bright.
Well, like our friend was kind enough to let us really play this guitar and I played it through my own rig. So that's how you really get an idea of, oh, I like this or I
played it through a car Super B, which was not nearly enough horsepower to compete with an M80. I learned.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It was not.
It was not close. No, but
it's like, let's turn it up more. I'm like, no, I'm maxed out. I think you're on 2.
I was on 2.
I was like, let's just try this. That didn't work, but it was still fun.
It was really fun, but yeah, if there was, I just can't imagine there being a better one. I mean, maybe. Hopefully they're all on par.
It's definitely one of the best Les Pauls I've ever played.
Agreed.
And in the end, the experience, I think everyone had a great time. There's the highs and the lows, and that's how that's like being married. The highs and lows of that, the highs and lows of eating it out at Tokyo Express or something. It feels great. Food poisoning later, maybe. Just kidding.
Panda Express.
Ooh, I love Panda Express.
I wish we had a Panda Express.
I know. I'd be there all the time. We're getting Chipotle though. That's official. It is. They put the sign up just like yesterday. No, so a good experience, but I think Tom Murphy was the superstar that we heard should have been highlighted more. He wasn't a featured speaker, and I think sometimes they try to keep him away from talking, maybe because he's just a builder.
Don't spill the secrets.
I know, but it's just everyone there's this bonding experience with these customers all had.
I feel like when you're getting something like this, you deserve that. You could have that.
Well, and maybe some of the folks behind this don't care, but they do want this sort of like the wows and papows of corporate talk but that and JC, I was really happy to hear that.
Me too.
It was everyone.
We enjoyed JC the time that we kind of crashed the Gibson party.
Oh, we totally did that. Not Gibson dealers. And we're totally at the party, and they're like,
but they let us stay. They were like,
oh, yeah, casino, you guys can stay. I'm like, all right. Weird.
Yeah.
And they gave us drinks too.
Yes, they did. But I mean, I will say, I know there were a few maybe what you'd call hiccups, but I will say kudos to Gibson for making the whole thing. Not, hey, you spend all this money, we send you this guitar and it's amazing, but that's it. I think the fact they made an experience is pretty cool. And
they're going to be able to fine tune this experience to where it gets better in the day. I hope, again, this is my ending thing too. I hope they do it with their dealers. And we're not a Gibson dealer.
No.
And I thoroughly think that's the right thing to do. It seems crazy just because it's, I was going to say it's chump change for Gibson, but I guess it's not chump change when you got 50 guitars at $50K.
$2.5 million. That's all.
A lot of money.
Nothing.
But still, that's something that, I think that should be done through the dealers, and then the ones that brought you. Yeah, I know, it's to the dance. And then remember, like, use your strength. You got JC, you got pull Tom Murphy out from the workbench sometimes. Get him there and get him moving the thing and
Away from those aliens, now
away
with the
from
people.
and the giraffes.
That's right.
And I think that's about it. Stay tuned for the demos of this guitar on both Casino Guitars channel and Jonathan Robinson Music channel out there on the YouTubes. And click like, subscribe.
Don't forget the bell.
Thanks for joining us, and thanks for our friend who let us borrow this guitar. It's spectacular.